makeup that'll last through the humidity of the southern states. If you're going to college in the South this fall, then you need to hurry up and get your sweat-proof, humidity-proof makeup routine down pat. I like to personally start with the IMCO Beauty Flawless Glow because we're going to be putting a lot of powder on our faces and we want to make sure that we still have a nice, dewy, healthy glow. Then you just take a damp beauty sponge and tap it out. This is the Pawpaw sponge from Shop Miss A. And this is what our face looks like, super glowy and dewy. This is the absolute best drugstore foundation for humidity, and I will stand 10 toes on that. This is the L'Oreal True Match Foundation. I'm in shade N1. I just like to pump a little bit on the back of my hand, warm it up in that beauty sponge, and start tapping it into the skin. And avoiding directly in the under eye area just because we're going to be putting concealer there later. And you don't want your makeup to be too heavy, especially when it's going to be hot. Now it is time to warm up our face with bronzer. This is the Milani Cheek Kiss in shade 110 Hey Honey. Just dab it in right at my cheekbone. Take a little bit on the jawline and the temple as well. I like to do a tiny bit on the sides of my nose. And then for blush, when it's summertime, I like to go for a more rosy toast sunburn shade. This is the Warm Terracotta for IMCO Beauty. You can tell she's been loved. I like to apply it directly with the brush and just tap it in. I like to put a little bit on my nose, chin, and my temples too, just because that's where the sun will naturally hit you. And for concealer, I like to go with the Tarte Shape Tape, and I like to bring it a little lower than directly under my eyes, almost in that spot, just because I don't want it to be so far up my eyes. I want it to be right where I want to conceal. And I'll just do the tiniest bit on my nose, forehead, and chin. And here's the most important one. You let it sit for about 20 seconds before you go back in with the same beauty blender as before. And then it just slowly tapping it out. I like to take the excess concealer and put it on top of my lid. Now it's time for a powder. I'm going to go in with the Huda Beauty, but you can also use the L'Oreal Infallible Blurfection. Both are phenomenal. It's just depending on your price point and budget. Just getting some on the powder puff, tapping the excess off in my palm, and then tapping underneath the eye. Look at that difference. Immediate difference. This is how you're going to get your makeup to stay. I like to put some on my forehead, chin, and right above my lip. Gorgeous. Now we're going to put powder bronzer and powder blush right on top of where we did the creams earlier. I'm going to start with the NYX Buttermelt Bronzer. This is in shade Butted Up. This is in shade Butted Down. And I have to be very sparingly with this because this is one of the most pigmented bronzers I've ever used. And it's from the drugstore. You just have to really dap her in. And then I even like to take a smaller little eyebrow brush and outline my